Hi everyone, my name is Ryan Clark. I'm the best-selling author of the book College Entrance Game Plan and College Aid for Middle Class America. I'm also an independent educational consultant, and I'm here to help you get the right college for the right price. And I want to give you some quick tips to help you with studying for the SAT, for the upcoming AP tests, for the ACT, for your finals, any test that you have coming up. Here are some tips that are going to really help you ace these tests. So tip number one, you need to find your study space. What do I mean by that? Well, everyone's a little bit different. Some students need some action, some movement behind them while they study. And what I tend to find is that those coffee houses tend to have the right amount of chaos, if you will, for those students. Other students, they need some kind of a door shut and they need some white noise behind them. And there's a wonderful website I found called simplynoise.com that will help you if you just need some white noise to help you just focus on what you need to. Other students need complete silence. And so going to a library or going to some place that just doesn't have a lot of movement, doesn't have a lot of sound so they can really concentrate, fits them perfectly. So my suggestion to you is find out what that place is for you and go to it. That's where you need to go study. You're going to get so much more done. So tip number two, I want you to enjoy your favorite snack while you study. Yes, mom and dad, I'm telling you, let your son and daughter eat while they study. So it could be crackers, it could be M&Ms, it could be something healthy. Whatever it is, just let them eat because your body tends to get hungry and it also helps you stay awake while you study. Now, I will give you a suggestion. Try to stay away from coffee and tea and from carbonated drinks. Why? Because those caffeine can affect your sleeping and you need your sleep. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And it also can leave you dehydrated. So try to leave that alone if you can while you study. So tip number three, never study where you sleep. Why? Because if you're laying your head down on your bed on a pillow, more than likely you're going to end up falling asleep. And I know a lot of my students study in their bedroom on their bed. So my suggestion for you is try it without studying in your bed. So if you're sitting upright, you're sitting in a chair, you're going to pay attention, you're going to study a little bit longer than if you were laying down on your pillow. So tip number three, don't try to learn anything the night before. We've all been there, we've all done it. And a lot of my students will try to get up into these study groups and try to learn something that they just didn't learn during the classroom session. And they just get really frustrated because the study group session just doesn't work for them. And they're trying to cram so much in the night before. So I would say, you know what? Stick with what you know. Don't worry about what you don't know. Your notes, what you do know is good enough. So just try not to learn anything new the night before. So weekend before, a week before, sure, but the night before, don't do it. All right, tip number five, don't put all of your time into one area. I have some students of mine who says, you know what, Ryan, I really am lacking in this one subject. So I have 5 hours of study. I'm going to spend 4 hours in this one subject and 1 hour over here because I think I have that. Well, that's really risky because you could spend all your time on, let's say, science and not put any time in math. And then when you get to the math, you feel that you're just not prepared. So spending a little extra time in one subject's okay, but don't spend all your time in one subject. Try to spread it out evenly if you can. So tip number six, avoid thinking I should have or I would have. It's really easy to get down to yourself and go, man, I wish I'd have done this, or I should have studied harder, or I wish I'd have learned this, or stayed after school, whatever it may be. And then you just kind of get in this self-deprecating mode. So you don't want to do that. So try to avoid that. Again, your notes, your knowledge will have to do. And if you study well, it'll be good enough. All right. Number seven, be aware of the lure of study buddies. We talked about that a little bit differently. Everyone tends to study a little bit differently, and where they study best tends to be a little bit differently. And it's really easy to get lost in these study groups or study sessions. So I would definitely try to avoid those, especially the night before, maybe even 2 nights before. Try to avoid those or be aware of the limitation of those study buddies, okay? Tip number 8, take breaks while you study. So my suggestion is to block out time. So it might be 40 minutes, it could be 60 minutes, and then take 10 or 15-minute breaks. So you want to set your time. So you might use an egg timer, you might want to use your watch, you might want to use your phone, whatever it may be. Just set some time and say, okay, I'm going to study for 60 minutes straight. And when I say 60 minutes, I mean not study for a little bit and then check your phone and then text and then pet your dog and then check your email. When I say time block for 60 minutes of studying, that means for studying for 60 minutes. And then after you're done, take a break for 10, 15 minutes. Recharge yourself, go to use the bathroom, walk around, do something else to kind of clear your mind, and then go right back at it. That's the way to do it. All right, tip number 9, do something fun before you go to sleep. I can't tell you how many times that I have stayed up all night worrying about something. And if you are taking a test and you're really hesitant about taking a test, or you're thinking about that test and you're trying to remember all the things that you need to remember for tomorrow, it's hard because your mind is just going 100 miles an hour. And so what you need to try to do is you want to try to do something fun, something different 30 minutes before you go to bed. So it could be Snapchat, it could be watching TV, it could be playing a computer game, whatever it is. Just try to get away from thinking about your test the night before you go to bed. So it allows your mind just to kind of calm down. And you might even want to try meditation. That works really, really well, and it's worked for me in the past. Last but not least, here's the last tip. Try to get some sleep. Most students of mine get like 6 hours of sleep. And I'll be honest with you, that's not enough. I would try to shoot for 7 to 8 hours if you can. And I know if you're a teenager, you're listening to this, you're probably thinking, there's no way I get 7 or 8 hours. I understand it's hard, but try to get as much as you can, because I have some students who've told me that they spent all night and got 2 hours of sleep, and they spent all night studying, and then the next day their brain just wasn't functioning right. They were tired, they were anxious, they had a lot of nerves, and it's because they just didn't get enough sleep. So please try to get 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep if you can. So those are my tips for acing your tests that are coming up. And if you think this was helpful, please like the button, or please like the video. Please forward it to other students and parents who are getting ready to go through this process, because taking these tests are very, very, very time consuming and can be very nervous. And we want you to maximize your score to try to do as best as you can, obviously. Again, my name is Ryan Clark. Please let me know if you have any other questions or concerns, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. And remember 3 things: be a friend, be a leader, be of service, and we'll talk to you soon.